What's going on, guys? Welcome to the newest episode of Needed Nostalgia and the latest episode of our Halloween Spooktacular. We're doing a lot of these types of videos this year for Halloween Spooktacular, where we're not even reviewing a movie. We're just kind of talking about like retrospectives of a specific series, or maybe a duology like we did with It, or we're just going to talk about things like we're going to talk about today. What movie scenes terrified us the most when we were little? So I'll be quite frank, I don't know if I have that many, because when I was little, I did not watch many scary movies. So you might be more of the expert in this field than me, but the expert in this field is Pat Guy. So what's going on?
Not much. I'm very excited to take this trip down memory lane and get a little spooked.
Hell yeah. So we'll start with you, because I think my story is going to be a little bit long-winded. What is the big one that sticks out to you for you?
The big one to me, and I'll talk about this. I'll touch on this probably in a future video we're doing for Spooktacular. But Ghostbusters 2. Vigo was horrifying to me as a child. I literally had night terrors back when I was a little kid, and I vividly remember having a night terror where I was hiding under my dining room table, screaming, "He's coming, he's coming," and looking up my staircase in my old house. And you could sort of see, like, to the right, there was, like, the railing.
Yeah.
You could see, I remember thinking I could see Vigo's feet coming around downstairs. And I remember my brother telling me he was really freaked out because I'm just this little kid in the middle of, like, a night terror screaming, "He's coming, he's coming." And my brother was like, "What the hell is going on? Like, do we need an exorcist?"
I was, I would have been like, I would have laughed if you were like the little girl from Poltergeist who was like, "They're here."
Specifically, I remember the scene that scared me. I mean, the Ghostbusters movies were horror movies to me. Dude, that's weird. I feel like I'm about to sneeze too.
It's too much dust.
Hold on.
There you go.
The Ghostbusters movies were just horror movies.
I stayed away from those until like high school. I was like, I don't know how scary these are supposed to be. And then when I watched it in high school, I was like, oh, it's a comedy.
Yeah, they were horror movies to me when I was a little kid. And I am actually releasing a video essay on my channel at some point in October about how Ghostbusters are kind of horror movies.
Yeah.
As well as comedies, obviously. But I remember specifically Ghostbusters 2, the scene that creeped me out so much as a kid was when Oscar the baby's out on the side of the building, and then you see the nanny, the ghost nanny, climbing up, and then its arm stretches out and grabs the baby and takes the baby and leaves. And I'm like, as a kid, I remember thinking I would be in my bedroom. I was horrified that ghost nanny, was gonna come up to my window and like grab me. Like, I was so scared of that as a kid. Like, and even the first movie, like, which I think is maybe even arguably scarier. The library ghost traumatized me as a kid. Just a jump scare. Yeah. And my memory of it is so much scarier than it actually is. Like, the image I think of when I'm like, oh yeah, when I used to be scared of that, the face was way scarier than it actually is. Nice. Yeah, that's probably my big one. Like, as a kid, like, I was petrified. I was scared even that the Ghostbusters VHS was like in our living room. I was so scared that was like there.
Dude, I have similar feelings, and I think you know what I'm going to talk about, because it's not about Ghostbusters. So for anybody watching this video, my biggest scary moment in any film was the entirety of The Wizard of fucking Oz. Because of the Wicked Witch of the West. Scared the shit out of it. Like, that scene where she's like, where Dorothy's going through the tornado, and you see like I forget if it's the housemaid or the mail lady, and she's on the bike, and then all of a sudden, like, she turns into a witch, and the broom catches on fire. I was like, ah!
Oh, Miss Scott!
but like anytime she came on screen, because like you look at that actress, I think her name was Margaret Hamilton. Like
Yeah.
she looks like a witch. Like she is like when I think of like wicked witches, like that's the one that comes to mind.
Oh,
So
for sure,
yeah.
yeah.
So like anytime I went over to your house when I was little, there was this poster of the Wizard of Oz in your room. In the
Dude,
right-hand corner, I
yep,
was terrified of that poster
yep,
because it was just like it was like Dorothy, you know, and like the Tin Man, the lion,
yep.
Toto, and then in the upper right corner is the Wicked Witch of the West, just
Mhm.
smiling with
One
those
sec. Let
evil
me see if I
eyebrows.
can find that. One sec.
Oh, you fucker!
All right. So, uh, I took a lot of stuff into my new house when I bought my own house, from my old house, and I like posters and all those like plaques we had in the basement, like on the walls.
Yeah.
I put them in my garage, like on the walls. But Alex, I'm sorry. Is this the
Yeah,
poster you're referring to?
it's not scary now, but like that terrified me when I was little. Like I'd be like, Pat, I can't sleep.
Dude, I remember that. I remember my
Yeah.
mom coming in the room, and you were like terrified of the Wicked
Yeah, it was
Witch.
like but I think what made it like worse too was that was like also around the time where I heard about like the conspiracy that one of the Munchkins hung himself on like the set of the Wizard of Oz. You never heard
I
that?
never.
No. So I forget.
Now I'm actually scared.
So like I forget what it is, but it's like they're in the woods, so there's like a distance shot of like you see something hanging from a tree branch, but there's like this conspiracy theory that one of the actors who played one of the Munchkins was like super depressed. Though the rumor is that he hung himself, but and like nobody knew about it, and it was caught like in the movie, like in the background.
Oh, that's
But
sad.
I guess that was debunked. Like that didn't actually happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
mhm.
but that was like the conspiracy. Like, so that was like when I learned about that because I think my mom told me that. I was like, "Why are you telling me this? I'm 6 years old, for Christ's sake." And then what even freaked me out more about the Wizard of Oz is that my mom also loved the Wizard of Oz, so she
Yeah.
would have like all this like Wizard of Oz shit like around the house, and she even had like one of those like metallic lunch boxes, and I remember like flipping it like upside down, so it was upside down, so I couldn't see like the picture of the Wicked Witch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that was.
awesome.
Oh, and I have never watched the Wizard of Oz since I was like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so traumatizing. I'm gonna watch it this year and review it for Spooktacular because it's like it's not even a scary movie, but like
No,
it's
that's
got a
true.
witch in it that I'm terrified. That's why
That's
I'm gonna
true.
do it. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
And she was a lot scarier than when poor Mila Kunis tried to be the Wicked Witch.
Huh?
Remember when Mila Kunis tried to be the Wicked
Oh
Witch?
yeah. No, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
we get like that lady creeped the shit out. And like the best parts of the yeah, fuck that. I prefer I prefer the other one you have. That's like it's like metallic plaque. It's like a
Yeah.
wallpaper, but it's got like the other lady who wasn't the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, Glinda
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, not even her. Like they had like the Wicked Witch of the West, but it
Yeah.
wasn't that same actress. It was like a different.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I was like, can you like put that one in that corner? Thank you. Yeah. So the entirety of the Wizard of Oz scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, and I have
I mean,
never gone back to watch it
I
ever
get
since.
I get that a little bit. There's those asshole trees that come to life and like throw
Yes.
apples and grab people and shit.
Yeah. Do you remember those like great illustrated classics books where it was like you'd
Yeah,
have text on one side and
yeah.
then like the pictures on
Yeah,
the other?
I still have my collection.
Mine's somewhere. Or my mom got rid of them. She got rid of them. I'm rebuying them.
Yeah.
But I remember I read the Wizard of Oz book. I was just like, this shit wasn't in the movie. It's like the Tin Man like using his axe and like chopping off the heads. I was like,
Yeah.
what the? Why is this whole thing traumatizing for me?
It's way darker in the actual
Yeah.
book. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they did some like remakes. I remember like made for TV remakes. I was like, this
Dude,
is for my speed.
Return to Oz from the 80s
Yeah.
is like legitimately a horrifying movie. Like
Was it
even
made
if you
for
just
TV?
look at the poster,
Return to Oz. Oh shit.
dude, it's creepy. I remember I rented it from the like video zone when I was a kid, and like I was horrified. Like it wasn't what I expected at all.
What is up with Dorothy?
I don't know. The whole movie's fucking
What
it's
the
weird.
fuck?
It's weird.
Dude, why do we keep looking at this shit? Now I'm just traumatized all over again.
Like I don't really think of
Stop it!
I don't really think of Oz as like a horror movie franchise, but you might be convincing me.
It's like, stop it. Stop. I can't with this movie anymore. And then, like, I think I was like also like really young when I learned that like Judy Garland like overdosed, and to me that was like scary when I was little too. I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with this movie? So I didn't say that when I was 6 years old. I just said, what's wrong with this movie? I didn't add the fuck in, you know? Yeah, so I'm never watching Wizard of Oz again.
I'll get you, my pretty.
I hate you. Yeah, so fuck that movie. It's one of the greatest movies of all time, but fuck that movie. Just celebrated its 80th anniversary 3 years ago. So we're on maybe on the 85th anniversary. I'll wait and review.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'll do it this year. Maybe, but we'll see. I feel like it's any scenes with Glenda, the Good Witch of the East. I was just like, yeah, more of that, please. She seems like a really nice person. Please. More of her.
I mean, a franchise that kind of spooky and was big in our childhood that had a couple like legitimate big things that scared me as a kid was Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Harry Potter had some like that first movie, that might have been like the first jump scare I feel like I ever experienced. When
Really?
he opens the book
Oh,
in the restricted
fuck,
section.
yeah.
It horrified me as a kid.
Yeah.
I was like,
Dude, no,
"Ah!"
you know what was horrifying, and it kind of is still like terrifying too. When he's got the invisibility cloak on and he's in the library, and you just see the hand with the torch.
Yeah, it was creepy.
But you know what? Speaking of Harry Potter, you know what was terrifying? The Prisoner of Azkaban video game.
Dude, yeah.
Where you had to
I
like
love that game.
where you had to sneak around, you couldn't be seen, and then like once you got seen, it was like the knights would like look at you, and then you have like that creepy music, or like if Snape caught you, he'd be like. Like, what is wrong with this game?
It's true, man. Like,
Yeah.
even as someone who's scared of snakes, the basilisk really freaked me out.
Well, I remember we were debating because that was I don't think I saw Chamber of Secrets in theaters until 2003.
Oh.
Yeah, so I remember I think I saw it in January of 2003. So I almost did not see a Harry Potter movie in theaters. But I remember we were debating because that was still in theaters and Two Towers was still in theaters. And that was when I was like scared of Lord of the Rings still. I was like still like at that age where I was a little
It has creepy moments, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, all the orcs look scary to me.
The Bilbo jump scare always got me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember my brother who's only 3 years older than me. He wanted to see it. I just remember my brother with Lord of the Rings, like when we first, because we didn't see Fellowship in theaters, but like I remember he was watching it. I just remember the look on his face when I was looking back at him watching it in the other room. He was just like that. I was just like, yeah, I'm never watching this. So it came down to Chamber of Secrets or Two Towers. My brother wanted Two Towers. I wanted Chamber of Secrets. My mother took us to see Chamber of Secrets, and what the fuck were we talking? Oh yeah, the snake. I remember he warned me. He was like, yeah, there's a giant snake in Harry Potter. I'm like, I'll be fine. And then it came on. I was like, yeah, it wasn't that scary.
It freaked me out as a kid. Like specifically,
I think the part that freaked me out is when Harry stabs the snake with the sword.
Yeah,
because I was like, whoa, this is PG.
I never liked when he's in the tunnel and it's just like its face is like right there. It's just trying to find him.
Yeah. Well, I think they set that up so well too, because it's like, what's in the chamber? Like, what's petrifying all these people in Hogwarts? And then you find
creepy.
Okay, I never used to think that thing that it lives in was Salazar Slytherin. I always thought that was like a statue of Dumbledore. It looks exactly like Dumbledore.
It's just a bearded man.
Yeah. that's like I was watching the original Spider-Man movie earlier with Tobey Maguire. I remember thinking when I was a little kid, I was like, yeah, the guy in the wheelchair, Fargus, that's Professor X.
Dude, even parts of those movies scared me as a kid. Where the Green Goblin, back to formula, and he throws the guy.
Well,
And he's like,
especially on this rewatch, like I noticed a lot more of Sam Raimi's like
horror tropes.
horror tropes in those
Yeah.
movies. Yeah, and then like when he vaporizes the entire board with like the pumpkin, which doesn't make sense by the way, but you know it's
They turn to skeletons.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Like how does that do that? But I really don't care. Yeah, no, like and then like yeah, like other no scene from that movie that terrified me actually when Goblin attacks Aunt May.
Yeah, that's creepy. That's
Yeah,
creepy.
I remember after I saw that movie, I kept looking at my window the entire time. I'm like, is this thing gonna blow up right now?
No, yeah. I mean, the goblin was kind of creepy in that movie. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Dafoe is-
it's cheesy now because he looks like
Yeah.
a bad Power Rangers villain,
Sure,
but
but as a
it
kid-
still works. It still
As a-
works.
as a kid, when he's in the fire,
Where are you? Where are you? I'm gonna get you out of here. It's okay.
You're pathetically predictable. Like a moth to the flame.
Yes, yeah. You're pathetically predictable.
but even the second one has that random ass horror scene when
The
Doc Ock's
hospital scene?
are killing all the
Yeah, the
doctors.
hospital scene. Yeah, that I remember sitting in the theater. I was like, I'm never watching Spider-Man 2 ever again.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was scary.
terrifying.
As a kid, like his
Dude,
arms
because
scared
it was that one shot where the guy had the chainsaw. It was that one shot where Sam Raimi focuses on like half of the arm, and then the chainsaw goes out, and like you see the reflection of like Doc Ock on the chainsaw. I was just like, he's got his arm chopped off. Like that was terrifying to me as a kid.
It scared me as a kid because I always felt like that his arms could like peel your face off. I never
Oh
liked
yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other scenes that terrified me. Getting away from movies for a minute.
Yeah.
The entirety of disc 5 of Supernatural season 1.
So specific.
Episode 19, Providence, with
Yes,
the
yes.
one with the painting. and the-
Yes, like little
Dude,
girl.
yeah. I don't think it was the little girl that creeped me out so much with the little
Parents?
girl with the yeah. It was the razor. It was the parents because the episode opens on the still shots of that fucking picture, and the next shot of the picture. So it's like the father looking like this, and then the next shot of the picture is the father. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then it's like, oh, there's supposed to be a little kid in the painting. I'm like, where's the little kid? What the fuck?
That's like a Vigo situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, it's true though, because the first season of Supernatural, really the first 2 seasons,
Oh,
they
legit?
really tried to scare you sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they really tried.
Dude,
And-
they had that episode in season 1 with like the hunters in the woods that just hunted people for fun.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they tried to make it creepy. It wasn't so self-aware yet.
Right.
And as a 12-year-old first getting into the show, it was creepy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
it was
the
like
woman in white was creepy.
yeah, but now if you talk about Supernatural, it's like yeah, it's just a fun show where like it's kind of
Yeah,
self-aware.
like angels and demons. That's
yeah,
it.
it got less scary as it went on. The
Yeah, it
first
did because I feel like a lot of people caught on to Supernatural like late in the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they realized that like when it first aired, the entire premise was built around urban legends.
yeah, it was all supposed each week was like a mini
Hook-
horror.
The Hookman.
The Hookman, yeah.
Which
Uh,
I love the fact that we never see him. Like they had that promo shot of the actor on like on the DVD like
yeah.
binding or something. I'm like, where the fuck is that in the episode? But
Um,
I remember the first episode you ever showed me was Scarecrow.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That
a
was
creepy.
That was a fun episode, especially the end where Meg just slits the guy's throat.
Yeah.
I was like, what
Um,
the hell's happening here?
So Casey, I've just been showing my wife. She's like,
You
we got
watched it
that.
on DVD.
Yes.
Okay, good. So you get the music.
Yeah. So we got an art piece of Supernatural at Boston Comic Con this year, and she was like, I really should just watch it. Like, I should just give it a try. And I'm like, yeah, but she's easily scared of movies like pretty easily. So I'm like, season 1 might be like a little too scary for her. And we watched the first 2 episodes so far, and she was a little creeped out
Yeah.
by like some of it. Like the first scene of the first episode's legitimately creepy. Like
Well, I
when
mean, yeah, it's like Mary Winchester is hanging on a ceiling.
Yeah.
It gets
But
set on fire.
the big scare that got her is the completely unexpected one where at the beginning of episode 2, Sam's at the cemetery and he's putting flowers on Jessica's grave and he's like apologizing. And then the hand pops out of the ground and grabs him, and then he wakes up from a dream.
Oh,
But it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
so unexpected. I
Dude,
knew it was coming.
I want to
was
know
like,
her thoughts on the 3rd episode because that's the one with the kid that drowned.
I know. Well, we literally after we watched Wendigo the other night, she was like, "You want to do one more?" Like it was pretty late at night. She was like, "Is it creepy?" And I'm like, "Dead in the water is like kind of creepy." Yeah, like I was like, "Yes."
I mean, it's called Dead in the Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting. And it has, I mean, even the visuals of that show were way darker and spookier.
Yeah,
earlier.
Phantom Traveler made me never want to go on a plane.
Yeah, no. But yeah, Supernatural had its creepy moments.
Dude, and then they did the clown one in season 2.
Yeah.
The better clown one, not the plucky penny whistle magical man.
Hey, I like that episode.
That's a good episode. I know.
Yeah, it's Supernatural, especially when we first got into it as like 12-year-olds. That's the age where you're like starting to get into like a bit more like serious.
Right.
Like I would start to watch horror movies back then.
Right.
Where before I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
I watched a horror movie. Before that, even I should say, my biggest phobia is ventriloquist dummies. It is always
all the Goosebumps shit.
It has always been that way. I've always been terrified of ventriloquist dummies. Goosebumps as a kid had Slappy. Even those book covers of Slappy, no.
Oh, I know.
Or
I know.
And so when I was, I think, 13 years old, I was like, yeah, I think I'm over my ventriloquist dummy phobia. So my brother and I went to Blockbuster with 2 of our friends, and we rented
Child's Play.
No, we rented Dead Silence by James Wan.
I don't think I've seen that one.
My fear of ventriloquist dummies, I thought I was over it. I was not. I was like in middle school, and I still, after watching that movie, I could not sleep well for like 2 weeks because I was so scared of what I saw. And it's about a ventriloquist lady and her dummy collection. All I'll say, Alex, is this is how it starts. And tell me,
I gotta watch this now.
Tell me if this is scary. A guy and his wife or fiance receive a box. They receive a box and they open it up, and it's a ventriloquist dummy who's really creepy looking. And to me, I'm like, burn it. If a ventriloquist dummy got delivered to me, fuck that, destroy it. The guy leaves for some reason to go do something like buy groceries or whatever, and the fiance wife is in the apartment with this dummy, and all of a sudden the dummy's missing, and she goes to the bedroom to look for it, and there's a lump under the covers.
Okay, you know what sucks? You know what sucks about this whole thing? This reminds me of the time you were telling me about the opening of Sinister, and like when we were driving back from like Lake Mattawa and like on Route 2, like late at night. And like it's only reminding me of it now because it's raining outside. It's dark. First of all, I'm just like, fuck.
Like, yeah, dude, it was a creepy ass movie. That's a movie that really scared me because it hit my phobia so like perfectly. It was
Guess what?
Ugh.
It's on Blu-ray and it's unrated, and I'm gonna buy it and we're gonna watch it.
Fuck no. No, you're not. Dude, no.
Well, I feel like you have a fear of dolls in general, anyway, because you were hesitant to watch The Conjuring,
dude, because of Annabelle.
Yeah, and now you're like, yeah, can we watch Annabelle Comes Home when I come up?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember when you first saw The Conjuring, like within the first 2 minutes, you were like, I think I'm ready to turn this off.
Yeah, it was horrifying, dude. But yeah, so the biggest thing with Dead Silence that I still remember, there's a poem in the movie that I still remember. It's been over 10 years since I've watched that movie. And it's still in my brain is, beware the something of Mary Shaw. And if you see her in your dreams, oh no, she has no children, only dolls. And if you see her in your dreams, make sure you never, ever scream. That's fucking horrifying.
What?
She rips your tongue out.
Ugh.
Dude, it's a scary ass movie,
Was this
okay?
when he was like doing all the Saw movies?
I was like 2007, 2008. Like I remember I was in middle school, and that's why I thought I was.
Yeah, because
I'm not scared of that anymore. And then
I just IMDb'd it, and it said it came out in 2007. So I was like, it's got to be like around the time Saw came out. Because like nothing in Saw is scary, really. Except I mean, it's just gross. You know, not the first one, not so much. The rest of them, yeah, they're just gross. Like nothing's. It's just torture porn. Just flesh being ripped off of people. But like, yeah, like I feel like James Wan back in the day legit like wanted to scare the shit out of us.
Yeah, like that movie, it hit me in all the phobias, and I'm like, nope.
Good boy.
Speaking of James Wan, you down to watch *Malignant*?
No.
It's like campy though.
It sounds scary. Just the name sounds scary.
It's fun. It's fun camp.
But otherwise, like, trying to think of. Oh, so obviously I've talked about it before. The dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. The
Yeah,
spit poison.
Yep.
As a kid,
is that the Dilophosaurus?
That was so scary. Casper scared me as a kid.
Yeah, Casper scared me too for some
Casper
reason.
was scary. Casper has real scary.
I don't know why, because he was friendly, but like it scared me. Yeah.
The movie, I think the part that always freaked me out was when that evil woman with that voice, when she turns into a ghost.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And then like I think what proved to me that movie wasn't so scary though was when Casper was like actually like really nice, and then at the end he actually becomes like the human form of Casper. You know
what's creepy? Can I keep you? That's so scary. If a ghost boy says, "Can I keep you?" to no.
How about the opening scene of Sinister?
Oh, we're just straight up talking about horrifying horror movies now, huh?
Yeah.
Sinister messed me up, man.
I saw that once, and I have the Blu-ray. But I'm like, the reason that movie is so good is because it's so fucked up.
Sinister and Insidious both.
Yeah, Insidious especially.
Those movies.
Well, I remember you told me, you were like, because I think it was last year or the year before, I was like, I'm gonna watch Insidious, and you were like, the first half is good, the second half sucks, and I was just like, no, the second half was still really, because the second half is like when Patrick Wilson. I call discount Ed Warren in that movie, because he essentially is. Yeah, I forget what he essentially does, but like he's in like
he astral projects.
Astral projects, and then like you have that family that's just like looking at him, and then he's walking by them, and then all of a sudden you just hear the shotgun. I was like, whoa! Like, what the fuck? It's super fucking creepy, but nothing will be more fucking terrifying in a movie than the opening scene of Sinister, where you just see people with bags over their heads, and all of a sudden you just see them getting lifted into the air because they're hanging from a tree branch because somebody has a pulley system that they're pulling off screen, and then the title card with that image, a freeze frame of that image, Sinister, or the lawnmower scene.
Nope. Yeah, that was what messed me up the most. The tapes in that movie, fucked me up,
dude. Because the fact that you knew that they were coming, like you knew that the kills were coming. It was just how terrifying the kills were. Like,
still effective.
Yeah, because it was like the tapes in that movie. It was the creature Boogle or whatever his name is was possessing the kids, and he was like the kids were like filming the families. So that was like half of the tapes of those tapes, and then there's like that shot in the lawnmower one where he goes into the shed, and then it cuts to the flashlight in front of the lawnmower and him driving the lawn. You're just like, okay, okay. You're just waiting for it, and then all of a sudden you just see the guy,
Yeah.
and the lawnmower runs over him, and it cuts. I was like, nope, never.
Yeah. I remember just the anticipate, like you were like, okay, what is exactly gonna happen?
Yeah,
And I remember not thinking there's gonna be a person just randomly in front of the lawnmower, and then there was. I was like, oh my god! But even the way the videotapes were named innocent thing.
yeah. It was like family hangout
Yeah,
86.
pool party,
Yeah.
slumber party, mowing the lawn. It was
Yeah.
like, and then you watch the movie, and I'm like, Ethan Hawke, stop watching this! You son of a bitch! Like that fucked me up.
Yeah.
Insidious though, we watched in class.
Yeah, why did you watch that in school?
I couldn't escape it. I couldn't leave my studio class in high school. I was a senior. It was like October, and our guy was kind of this quirky like teacher, and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna watch some like kind of scarier movies for Halloween. Like it's gonna be kind of fun." And I was like, "Okay." And then we're watching the movies, and we turn on Insidious. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "This is kind of scary," but I'm trying not to look scared because it's high school and we're all judging each other. And like, dude, when the baby monitor scene happened, I wanted to run. I wanted to leave. When she's playing the piano or whatever, and she's downstairs and the baby's upstairs, and you hear like, "Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me." And she runs upstairs, and the baby seems fine. And then she turns, and there's something in the fucking window. I was like, I'm fucking done. I was like, ah! I was done,
Dude, is that did that teacher get fired, or is he in like a mental institution?
No, he's still there. He works with my brother.
Oh, really?
But dude, it was that was scary, man.
I think
the first half when it's like the haunting shit in Insidious, I'm like, I
I
know
think the whole thing is scary. Fuck
Why
that.
the
The whole thing is scary. Fuck that. Not necessarily the entire movie or a specific scene. There's gonna be one that I'm gonna talk about, which we'll do. We got like 7.5 minutes left. There's gonna be another one that I'm gonna talk about where I'm like, yeah, the whole movie, very much like Sinister, no. But what I want to talk about first, have you seen The Purge?
Yeah, the first one?
The first one?
I've only seen the first
Me too. Those fucking masks are terrifying.
one. See, I didn't find the Purge to be scary.
I didn't either. The only reason I'm terrified though of The Purge is because of those masks. Like it's like the smiles with like the eyebrows that like look. I'm like, what? Like it's on back of the Blu-ray. I'm like, nope, fuck it. Nope.
Yeah, the second those people turned out to just be like rich douchebags, I was kind of like, oh, they're not scary.
Yeah, like I don't think The Purge is scary, but anytime they have those masks on, though, I'm like, yeah, this is that's terrifying.
I found The Strangers to be way scarier.
That's the one I was going to talk about, because I was going to say, if we're going to talk about a movie with people wearing masks, The Strangers.
That's a legitimately great horror movie.
Yeah, and you know what the motive of these people is? Because you were home.
Why are you doing this to us? Because you were home.
That's the scariest fucking thing I've ever heard in a movie.
I know,
like that is the scariest thing. Because it's literally like it could literally happen to you just cause.
Well, dude, I remember.
True.
Yeah, I watched that for the first time like a few years ago. I was like, thank God I'm watching this during the daylight.
Dude, I remember watching it, and for the first time with my brother, like I was in middle school probably or whatever, shortly after it came out, and the girl at the door where you don't see her face really.
Yeah, is such and such there?
Yeah, is Benny there or whatever? And
No.
Are you sure? That's so scary.
I know,
That's
right?
horrifying.
Dude, not to mention like that in like that house that they're in like takes place in like a secluded like rundown trailer park or something like that. And then like what makes it even more terrifying is they take their masks off at the end, but you never see their faces.
Yeah, it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Also, I think that movie's masterful at using the background to horrify you.
Yeah.
Because you see them sometimes
there's that scene where Liv Tyler's like standing in the kitchen, and then you see the main one like in the background, like coming in behind her. So they're in the house, but you never see them get in the house.
Horrifying.
Yep.
Amazing horror movie. Though.
Yeah, it's legitimately like scary.
I could never show Casey that one because she would not be able to sleep ever.
I you know what? I was kind of afraid to go to your old house on Hillside Road because of that. Because you were in like boondocks, like country Deerfield, you know?
Yeah,
you had River Road, okay?
Yeah,
River Road was creepy.
Yep.
It was an idea I had for a supernatural episode.
There was like no street lights.
Yeah.
Like Hillside Road had one street light like down the road.
Yeah.
And the rest was pure darkness.
Oh, speaking of things that terrified us, I remember when we took Joe out one night and you were like, yeah, we're going to turn around once we get to the light, but maybe we'll cut it short. And then we're almost there and you're like, and I was like, yeah, we're going to turn around. No, walk towards the light. I was like, why? Like, walk towards the light. And then it just comes on. I was like,
dude, remember that time? I would try to pull little scary pranks. Remember that time we walked to the cemetery?
And then you left me there?
Yeah, there was like that pathway of just like trees. Yeah. And I was like, all right, we'll go this way. And then you started walking, and then I just went the other way.
Yeah, you left me there. You left me there, you asshole.
Oh man. I love this video because this video is turning into not just like scary things that scared us as like children. It's just turning into things that scare us. Because like we're talking about like these real scary movies. And I'm sitting here home alone with my dog, and it is like you said, a dark, scary day. And I'm just like, I'm legitimately getting creeped out.
Yep. Yep. It's one of the fireworks used to scare me when I was little.
Yep. I've never, as we've talked about probably before on the show, I've never seen The Exorcist. I have no intention of ever watching The Exorcist. It's a horrifying thing.
Remember when I would prank you by sending you the spider walk scene?
Yep. The reason I'm scared of The Exorcist so like powerfully is that my brother used to watch it every October. He would put on the Exorcist, and I would go into the other room, and I could still hear the movie.
Yeah.
Just hearing the movie was enough to make me.
Well, I think the reason I'm not scared of it so much is because I came to it so late, and it's so dated. Like it came out in 1973.
Scares me more.
I think that's the terrifying part of The Exorcist, though. That it's more of like a drama and a mother's love for her daughter and trying to make her daughter right. Yeah. Like the daughter turning her head all the way around is still scary, and like she's got like goo and shit coming out of her face. The spider walk scene is creepy. But I remember when I bought it. I was like, I bought it from like FYE or something because it was out of print at that time on Blu-ray, and then they re-released it a couple of years ago. I remember putting in the Blu-ray, and I just looked at the case and I said, okay, let's do this. Deep breath, because I had heard it was the scariest movie ever made. And then it gets to the menu, and it's this creepy ass music with the little demon child on the menu, and I'm like, I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? And then I watched it. I was like, that actually wasn't too bad. Yeah, and I'll probably rewatch it this year when you're here.
No,
I know.
I'll choke it out the window.
I know a movie that you'll stay away from, and that's Hereditary. I actually think Hereditary is scarier than The Exorcist.
Yeah, so we're not watching that either then.
No, Hereditary is just because it's more about like grief.
What's the general premise?
So
is it like a ghost thing? Is it like a demonic thing?
No, it's demon possession.
Oh great. No,
yeah, you won't like it. Like, but it's not like somebody like being like like the whole like it's more subtle. That's what makes it scary. Yeah. Because it's more about like a family dealing with like a death in the family, but then there's like some like strange occurrences happening, and they even do like a seance in the movie. and then like that's kind of like tied into the whole demon. But like it gets fucking weird at the end. But it's so good. But yeah, not for you. You would not like Midsummer either, by the same director. That one is just more disturbing. Okay. I'm gonna talk about that for a minute. So if you don't like demonic possession movies, are you big into like pagan celebration movies too? Like pagan.
That's so specific.
That's what Midsummer is, and that's what made it terrifying because it's just like there's probably people that do this shit in real life.
Like, dude, there's messed up cults.
Like, yeah, like cultish, ritualistic shit. Like Midsummer is so terrifying because it has such disturbing imagery and so many like things happen. Like there's this sequence where the woman in this cult like drug everybody's drink, so it's like they're drunk, and they could just go have sex with them and then kill them. Yeah, and then the end of the movie is like Florence Pugh like embracing like the cult and burning down like her friends' bodies, like but her friends' bodies get stuffed with like tree branches and shit. So it's like tree branches are like coming out of the top of the heads and out of like I'm like, I remember seeing it in theaters and I was just like, what the fuck did I just watch? Yeah. Not very fun. So
I love how this video is turning into just you horrifying me.
well, just wait until it's edited and there's clips from The Exorcist in here.
Dude, I'll kill you. I will watch this video.
Yeah. Hey, you were horrifying me earlier with the Wizard of Oz poster.
That's true. I guess this is revenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like I'm good with like some horror movies. Like you and I made it through Conjuring 1 and 2 at your
I was surprised when you made it through the first one. I was legitimately surprised, even because you were begging to turn it off after 2 minutes. So I was legitimately surprised, and I was legitimately surprised you made it through the scene where one of the ghosts is like on top of the bed, and then she spits up blood on one of the people in the house.
That was such a scary movie. But the thing is, it was so well made.
Yeah.
And it was so good that it was like I couldn't stop watching it because I'm like, it's just so good.
Yeah.
And then the thing I need in a horror movie to really like get through it is I need characters that I feel comforted by.
Yeah.
Like the Warrens in that movie,
Ed and Lorraine Warren, yeah.
I feel good.
You feel safer.
I feel like even though they're gonna go through this horrifying shit, like I feel like okay, they're gonna get me through this.
The professionals are here.
Yeah, like I need something like that. Like I watched the Poltergeist for the first time.
Poltergeist is great.
It's a great movie. And I connected a lot with those characters, and I needed to see them succeed. But that was a creepy movie. Like that was legitimately creepy.
PG, and it's PG. Yeah. No, speaking of the Conjuring movies, one scene that terrified me was the scene in the second one where the nun first shows up. He's like, they got like the drawing of the nun, but then like her silhouette, like shadow, like moves across the wall. That's why I had always said the second one was scarier than the first one. And it's not, but no.
The second one had that. Was it the second one that had that great scene when they're speaking to the poltergeist in the chair?
Yes, that's the second one.
They was out of focus.
Yeah.
But it was like so creepy.
Your father calls you Edward.
Not true. My father called me Ed just like everybody else. Come on, Bill, you're not a psychiatrist, and I'm not here to talk about my father. Let's get down to business. What do you say? Why don't you just leave these people alone?
Because this is my house.
It was so good.
He was the old man in the chair.
Yeah, that was so good. Like, there's such good movies. Like, I literally bought those movies when I was with you in Boston.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I should own them. I haven't watched them since because I'm horrified if we're doing that. But I saw the third one.
I don't know how I convinced you to watch those.
I think I was like, I'd heard such good things about them for so many years. I was like, I should just watch them.
Yeah. Yeah, get over your fear of demonic possession. Watch The Exorcist. It's so good.
Listen, I like my demon possession to be the supernatural variety where they just turn into Starky versions of
Axel versions, yeah.
yeah, or it's just Crowley, I could deal with
Yeah.
that.
I was gonna say, yeah, and then I remember something that terrified me in The Conjuring 2 was the opening with like Amityville where Lorraine Warren was like using like her psychic powers and like was
Yeah.
like using the shotgun to kill people and all. I was like, that's fucking disturbing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got any more?
Other movies that scared me.
Did Hocus Pocus ever scare you when you were little?
A little bit as a little kid because I think it was just that the kid was the one in danger.
Yeah.
Like even the first scene of that movie where it's like colonial times,
Yeah.
that's pretty creepy. Like this little girl gets like her like soul sucked out.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty messed up.
What about the Lana witch scenes in Smallville? Like Isabel? No.
She didn't scare me. Smallville. I'm trying to think if anything in Smallville actually really scared me.
I don't know. They had that Saw ripoff.
Yeah, I never
That
found him
wasn't scary though.
He had like an aluminum foil face.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he looked like the Riddler from the Batman.
I feel like the only thing that kind of scared me as a kid was Amy Adams turning into the fat sucking vampire.
Probably, yeah.
You know what was scary as a kid, but it was also fun to watch? The Mummy.
Yes.
The Mummy
The
scared me.
Mummy was great. The Mummy, yeah. Yeah.
Like it those scenes when like
Because it's one of those things when you're little. It's like the things that scared you the most were werewolves, vampires, I lost my train of thought. Zombies, yeah, witches, zombies, and mummies.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Hotel Transylvania crew.
Essentially, yes.
No, but yeah, just like even as a kid, like when his mouth would get elongated,
Yeah.
freaked me out. And like the scarabs, no.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That used to scare me a lot as
Yeah,
a kid.
anything did the face melting scene in Raiders ever scare you?
The face melting scene, I actually used to get scared more by the guy turning old in the third one.
Oh,
That scared me more as a kid.
gotcha.
And for strangely, Temple of Doom never scared me as a kid. That was the one I watched the most.
Dude, because it's not scary. That's why it's good.
You
Yeah. Tell Tim it's good.
Another random scene from a movie as a kid that scared me was in Batman '89 when the Joker's at the plastic surgeons. And it's like creepy and dark, and the guy's like, he's like, take it off my face, and he like takes off the bandages, and you don't see him, but it's horrifying.
Yeah. You know what scene scared me from a childhood movie too? In Hook, after the kids go missing and he just leaves the note with the sword in the door.
Yeah, that was kind of scary. When Hook kidnaps them,
Yeah.
that's legitimately creepy. Like they're
Yeah.
like hiding in bed, and their covers just come flying
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And
That sequence is scary.
their door in their room is like
Was the hook?
yeah, like that was creepy as a kid for sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Not now, but
I mean, I'm just in a scared mood now where everything scares me. Like I'm just like, oh god.
yeah.
Like my wife's not home for like 3 more hours. I'm terrified. Yeah, it's funny that like, but the thing is, as a kid though, I feel like I kind of enjoyed getting scared too. Like I feel like some kids movies should be a little creepy.
Yeah, they should be. I agree.
Like I always loved Nightmare Before Christmas. It always creeped me out a little bit, but I always loved it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I never had that mindset because I was like, I never watched Nightmare Before Christmas when I was little. Like, I just stayed away from anything scary. I was like, I am not watching Friday the 13th. I am not watching Halloween. I am not watching.
Did you ever watch any of the Disney Channel Halloween movies as a kid?
If the Good Ghouls Go Bad.
What about Don't Look Under the Bed?
I don't think I watched that one. Didn't
I don't
you?
know. I don't know if it's scary for real, but as a kid, it was horrifying.
Wasn't there one you watched a couple years ago called Killer Sofa?
Yeah, but that wasn't a Disney Channel thing. That was like
no, not a Disney Channel movie.
that was like some independent horror movie from New Zealand, and it was not scary. It was pretty funny.
No, but the candle scene you told me about, where he blows out the. Yeah, we're gonna watch that when you come down.
Pretty funny. Yeah, my friends and I watched Just some like cheap horror movies last year. Like,
Yeah,
um,
it's funny.
I mean, it's just horror is so interesting because
You can do so much with it.
you can do so much with it.
And nobody does anything with it. They're just like, I'm just gonna do a Samuel Jackson shit, you know?
Dude, I'm excited for you to watch Coraline with you.
Okay.
Coraline is legitimately kind of creepy.
Paranorman's kind of creepy too.
Paranormal's kind of creepy. I love Paranormal. That's like one of my
Paranorman's
favorites.
awesome. I love Paranorman.
Yeah, the stop motion animated movies, like
Frankenweenie was even kind of
creepy. They lend themselves to like creepy movies.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to be, but it is.
How about the beginning of the movie you watch religiously every year, Van Helsing?
Van Helsing, man, love Van Helsing.
Burning everybody in that windmill. Are you heartless? Yes.
You know what I'm thinking too is we did that episode on Needed Nostalgia about like N64, and N64. I don't know if it's because of the way the graphics were back then. There were a lot of creepy things on N64.
Dude, okay, this N64, one game in particular, solidified why I also hate The Wizard of Oz. Banjo-Kazooie had the fucking witch.
The witch.
Ah!
I know, dude. Even Banjo-Tooie.
And then when you died in Banjo-Kazooie, it would be like you know how like when you die in Mario, like you have like the Bowser outline. Yeah. Like it would do that with the witch in Banjo-Kazooie, but she'd be like, I'm never playing this game ever.
Yeah, those were creepy, and I think even like as a kid, there were sections of Mario 64 that horrified. The eel.
Oh,
Jolly Roger Day.
Dude, when you had to get the star off its tail.
Big Boo's Haunt.
Yeah,
the piano.
Oh yeah, that always scared me when I was little. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the piano. Yeah, and there was a red coin behind the piano, so you had to get it to try and bite you.
And you would walk in, it's like, oh, it's a perfectly innocent piano, and it's fucking opens up with fangs. I'm like,
you know what was scary too? When you went into like the room with the merry-go-round, it's like, and then you have all the ghosts coming out, and then they would shoot fire at you too.
Yeah, there was. I think it was just because how N64's graphics. I feel like there was something unsettling about some of it.
Yeah,
like Ocarina of Time had some really creepy sections too.
Yeah, the whole thing cinematic never made me want to play the game. Ganondorf riding through fire. I was like, nope, not happening.
There are these zombie guys called Redeads.
Yeah, nope, had enough.
If you get too close to them, they let out a shriek, and it paralyzes you, and then they come up to you and grab you, and like.
Yeah, no. Even the Scooby-Doo like classic Capers game was kind of scary.
We're watching Zombie Island because Zombie Island as a kid freaked me the fuck out.
We should. Witch's Ghost. Parts of Witch's Ghost are scary too.
Yeah, the actual witch at the end, the ghost witch, she was creepy. Her like sunken in cheekbones, and she was super scary.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You got any more?
Funny. I'm trying to think. I feel like no, but I love some of Tim Burton's movies as a kid, especially. Beetlejuice as a child was horrifying.
Yeah,
I still
because they're dead, you know.
And there's all sorts of weird imagery and like creepy things, and
typical Tim Burton movie.
My wife gets mad at me if I even joke about saying Beetlejuice 3 times.
Oh, it's like that Supernatural episode, Bloody Mary. Say her name 3 times in the mirror.
Yep.
You did that one time, and I was just like, "Don't do it." We're still alive and kicking, so I guess that means it didn't work.
We still have eyes.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh man, now I'm scared. I'm just scared now. Oh,
Oh, no, here's a good one for you. So, I was going to tell you to go see Barbarian, but I don't think you would like it because it would remind you of that episode from Supernatural in season 4, Family Remains, with the people, yeah, with like the sister living in the walls, but then you find out she has a brother.
yeah, no.
Essentially the same thing minus the brother.
No,
Yeah.
that's the one in the trailer where it's like a Airbnb, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then you go down to the basement. There's like weird shit.
yes.
Yeah, that trailer looks scary.
Yeah, it's a really good horror movie, but I was like, yeah, if Pat didn't like that episode of Supernatural, he's not gonna like this. It's
That was
essentially the same thing.
that was the scariest episode in all of Supernatural.
Yeah,
That like horrified.
yeah,
Yeah.
and well, like, cause the way that they made, oh, well, I was actually gonna compare it to like the way that they made her look, cause it was like one of those things where she had like the long dark hair, and they would like cover her face with the dark hair. But that reminds me, The Ring. When the girl comes out of the TV,
Yeah.
fuck that. Gore Verbinski, I hate you.
Oh, another kind of scary one was a Blind Pew in Muppet Treasure Island as a kid.
See, I gotta go back and watch Muppet Treasure Island.
It's a great movie, but he's funny now. I love him.
Is there a Halloween themed Muppet movie?
No, they just released last year the special. It's not a full movie, but they did a Muppet Haunted Mansion,
Oh, that's cool.
which is the two Disney things together.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty good. It was pretty funny,
Yeah,
and it was kind of faithful to the ride. It was more faithful to the ride than Eddie Murphy movie. I'll tell you that much.
that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Monster House was a movie that kind of creeped me out too.
Yeah, I didn't see that till I was probably
I
like
saw that in
20.
theaters, dude. I remember like it came out in 2006. I was 12. I remember like there were like certain sequences, like the old man like running out of the house. I was just like, what the fuck is his problem?
I really liked that movie. I hadn't seen it until Casey showed it to me, and I thought it was like super creepy, super fun.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
yeah,
one I gotta. That's one I gotta get because that's a fun movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's an unsettling movie too.
yeah, especially for a kids movie, you know.
Yeah, like the backstory is like super messed up.
Yeah, the house like transforms and
Like there's like a dead woman, like the dead fat woman underneath the house.
yeah.
Like,
And if we're gonna talk about, if we're probably wrapping up soon, but like we want to talk about other scary scenes too. And I think it was because the character himself was scared. Home Alone, when he goes into the basement by himself.
with a boiler.
Yeah, he used to creep me out when I was little.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
The shovel guy scared me as a kid.
Yeah, the pigeon lady in the second one scared me more.
I also always thought Nocturne Alley in Harry Potter was terrifying.
Oh, well, especially in the deleted scenes too. Like if you watch the extended cut of Chamber of Secrets, which by the way, where are my extended cuts of the other ones? And matter of fact, where's the super cut of Deathly Hallows, where it's 1 3-hour and 40-minute movie? Warner Brothers, hate you. Anyways, back on topic. Yeah, Nocturne Alley, like, not lost, are you, boy?
We'll help you find your way.
Yeah. Or like, or no, when he's like in the shop, and then he's like looking at he grabs the hand, and then the hand grabs him, and he's trying to get it off.
Yeah, that scared me. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was a jump scare in theaters. I remember. Yep.
Trying to think any other.
Even the Dementors. The Dementors in the third one were kind of scary.
The Dementors were creepy for sure.
Yeah.
I think any other ones that really stuck with me. Oh.
What?
As a kid, I was horrified of the Halloween specials of Family Matters with Steve
yeah.
Urkel
Yeah.
because the plots were about his ventriloquist dummy version of himself called Stevel.
God.
And Stevel was terrified. Like I had so much.
Yeah, I can just picture you being like, "Nope, I'm turning this up." So
Look up an image of Stevel.
Stevel?
Yeah, dude, Stevel ventriloquist dummy or something. He was horrifying to me as a kid.
Family Matters, Steve. I'm just gonna do Family Matters, Stevel.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just look up an image.
Oh, holy fuck!
He's scared. The
That is
shit-
terrifying.
And he was like trying to take Steve's soul, so it was like it was hard.
Whoa.
It scared the shit out of me as a
You
kid.
know what kind of scared me, even though it was a cartoon? The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Those horrors were creepy. My family would always watch them. Some of them would really like mess me up.
Yeah, like there's one where like I remember like Bart turned into the Raven from Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was a little creepy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I guess Doctor Strange becoming a zombie in Multiverse of Madness. I'm just kidding. No, that wasn't scary at all. It would scare a little. Oh, well, there was something when I saw Pearl yesterday. For some reason, some lady brought her 6-year-old, 5 or 6-year-old to the theater.
Why?
I don't know, but there was like some scary scene where like people got chopped up in that movie. So she took the kid out and then she brought it back in, and then they show like booty, essentially. Like they show these women's asses and like you see like full frontal, and then she left the theater, never see her from her again. So yeah, she was scared for her kid, and then she didn't want her kid to see the nudity either. So.
I mean, I always found that interesting that people are so much more horrified by nudity in movies than they are about like
Yeah, like people getting
disturbing
chopped up or
violence.
something.
Yeah, like it's always like, oh, it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time, The Shining.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shining is amazing.
I think the creepiest scenes are where he's just repeatedly typing "all work no play makes Jack a dull boy." The fact that the fact that red rum is murder backwards.
Yeah.
And then the whole scene where he's like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna bash your brains in. Bash them up. Fucking
Honey, sweetheart, love of my life.
here's Johnny." Yeah,
Nice.
even the maze sequence was a little creepy.
I always thought the scariest part to me was when he finds the old woman in the bathtub.
It's either that or I would say the two twins.
The twins are creepy. Yeah.
Or you know what? I think what makes that movie creepy is the implied fact that he was at the hotel like years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And
it's not a given, but it's implied.
And the way Kubrick made that movie, where the hotel's just so like
Yeah.
it makes you disoriented.
Right.
Like the long hallways, the carpet, like everything just
Like
feels
little Danny just riding his tricycle through the
terrifying.
hallways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was creepy. Yeah. And then if we're gonna talk about The Shining or something related to The Shining, Doctor Sleep even too. Like
It's a great
well,
movie.
when the True Knot kidnaps Jacob Tremblay and they kill him and then they bury. That's the creepiest scene in the movie.
Yeah.
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 But
That
like
kid gave such a believable performance of getting murdered too.
I know. And then even the True Knot themselves, like Rebecca Ferguson in that movie is terrifying.
It is
I'm
very
like,
creepy.
I'm like, man, I just know you as Ilsa Faust from Mission Impossible, but fuck, I never want to watch a Mission Impossible movie again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man, I'm creeped out.
Yeah, I'm gonna. This is probably gonna be the first one I'm gonna edit because this was probably the most fun.
Yeah,
You got any more, or you think that's it?
I think that's it. I think
Yeah,
I'm.
I think that's it for me too. I can't think of any more off the top of my head. I mean,
And some of them we're gonna talk more about.
I went on a huge tangent about the Wizard of Oz. So I mean that is scary for me. So
I know for Spectacular we're gonna talk about Hocus Pocus. We're gonna watch Coraline. We'll talk about that. But
yeah, we're probably gonna see Halloween Ends, and it's probably gonna be bad.
you know, we'll have a Ghostbusters marathon.
Yep. Where I watched.
It's coming up, dude. That's coming up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So Pat, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at this Pat guy or on my YouTube channel Agamotto.
All right. You can find me at my official website, alexmaddenmovies.mystrikingly.com. All my social media links are there. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. I was Alex. That's Pat. We'll see you at the movies somewhere.